Hello and welcome to the Suzuka Circuit for the Invictus Racing League's F1 Equal League for the Japanese Grand Prix. I am your host, I am your commentator, Tim. How are you doing out there today? As you see, qualifying is already on its way, on their way, on your way. Who knows what way it's on, but it exists and it's happening right now. Just 15 minutes and 50 seconds, give or take, remaining in this qualifying session. But hey, that is plenty of time, especially considering that it's an 18-minute qualifying session. So, I mean, you got plenty of time. It just started. Things are just getting underway. As you see, Tamworth Fox in the Racing Point machine out on his out lap right now, just now starting his flying lap. We're going to see where he winds up on the board. Riding on board with Tamworth Foxes. Now there is a car off the track. I'm not sure who that is. Gonna scroll through everybody here. It might have been, in fact, I think it was the Haas of X Rossi 21. I don't know if there's any damage on that car or not. For whatever reason, it will not let me change camera angles on his car specifically. So I cannot check. Well, there we go. And he gets loose yet again, goes off into the grass and into the gravel trap. I was talking to some of the racers earlier before the stream started, and, well, the FCC doesn't exactly limit what we say here on Twitch, but I'm gonna go ahead and keep it PG-13 rated. But basically, someone came across and said that, for lack of better words, that the track and the circuit is total crap, and that there's no reason that it should be on the F1 calendar. Well, I'm sure X Rossi feels that way. He was not who said it, by the way. I can say that honestly. He was not the one who said it. But I feel like he also feels that way, considering that he can't even finish his qualifying lap yet. In fact, Tamworth Fox hasn't even finished his lap yet. I don't know if he's just now ending. No, there is a yellow flag in Sector 3, though. However, it is for Tamworth Fox, who is slowing down. TB 237.91. Right now, the only driver with a time, 129.985. That's a good time right there. Very good time. Yesterday in the Performance League, only one driver in qualifying broke into the 129 range. Only one driver out of 15 that we had. So already seeing some fast times from these drivers. Of course, this is the Equal League. TB, of course, 129. Ton Albanach, a 129.691. He's right now your fastest qualifier. Provisional pole sitter with 13 minutes. Now, M. Doran, 09. Provisional pole sitter, 129.652. Only about 400, not even exactly 400ths of a second. 3.9 hundredths, I think, actually. Faster. And now even Scope Builder, your points leader. Scope Builder, 128. A 128.143 from Scope Builder as you see TB23 get off and into the gravel trap. TB230, just going to call him TB today. But he gets off into the grass, so a lot of drivers having issues with car control here. Jamie Ryan right now set the fourth fastest qualifying time with a 129.820. Vitten. Okay, apparently this is the first race I have seen Vitten in today. But I'm going to call him Vitten because I cannot pronounce exactly what I'm looking at there. But he has your sixth fastest time right now with a 129.854. He is in the Williams, as you can see right there. LR Archie now with a second fastest time, a 128.460. On board with Archie right now, but I don't think he's going to go for another flying lap. I think he's just trying to make it around and then go back to the pits. CPI Alex, meanwhile, with the third fastest time, a 129.070, but only the top two of Scope Builder and Archie have been able to break into that 1 minute 28 second bracket. Everyone else running 29 to 30s. Of course, we got Rudy down there in 11th, running a 1:49.839. I expect that to improve. I feel that that might have just been a bit of an off lap. And now you see CPI Alex, he spins. Just completely spun on his own, didn't hit anything there. But a lot of drivers having trouble with car control here. There's Tamworth Fox, one of the first drivers out, but ironically, one of the last, in fact, will be the last to set a time. Of course, he's not going to set a time this lap. He's slowing down to let the Williams by. Pretty sure that was Vitten. That number 2 machine of Tamworth Fox pulling back into the pits. No time this lap. White Fountain of the Toro Rosso. He's got a 1:30.293. That's fast enough for 12th. Rudy, who had the 1:49 earlier, now has a 1:29.9. I told you that time would improve. Scope Fielder, the points leader, still in first, though. Still the provisional pole sitter. As we actually see Scope Fielder on the track there. He got by the Williams of Rudy. He's going out to set yet another lap. Albanach in the Red Bull riding on board with him right now. He's your 5th fastest qualifier with a 1:29.691. We're going to find out right now just how many drivers have what tires fitted, and it looks like soft are the way to go. X Rossi down there in 11th position. He was on the mediums, but now he has switched to the softs. Looks like he's going to go try to make another lap. White Fountain, he set a lap time on the hard tires. Not sure if he's going to try to maybe pull a reverse strategy here or what, but now he's going for the medium tires. Yesterday in the Performance League, we saw a lot of luck, actually, with the reverse strategy, where almost everybody used soft tires in qualifying. There was one driver who used the medium tires, and he started on the medium tires, of course, and he ran the race. As you would expect, he pitted later, and then he pitted for the soft tires toward the end of the race. He made it on one stop, and he finished 5th after time penalties. But had he not gotten the time penalties, and had he not had an incident in the race to where he spun out on his own, he would have likely won the race. So I'm surprised that we don't see more drivers trying the reverse strategy here today, as now Todd Albanach has set the 3rd fastest time with a 1:28.839. 3 drivers now breaking into that 1:28 bracket. CPI Alex in 4th. He is the first driver not in the 1:28 bracket. He's got a 1:29.070. Very close, though, and he is actually on his out lap right now. Riding with him. Oh, that looked like a bit of a corner cut, but it wasn't the last corner, so it's not going to invalidate his next lap. But he doesn't want to do that in a lap's time, for sure. Tamworth Fox in the other Racing Point machine. As I said earlier, he was one of the drivers, one of the first ones out for qualifying, but he's ironically going to be the last one to set a time. If you're just joining us on Twitch, this is going to be a very exciting race today, as a lot of drivers, I was talking to them before, and a lot of them, they're not really feeling this track. And we've seen a couple of spins in qualifying already. This is going to be a track that's really going to require a lot of control. A lot of car control, and just you got to be really smooth. And it just seems that not all the drivers are exactly thrilled about being here tonight. But as spectators, that plays into our hands. That makes the race much more entertaining. as now Todd Almanac has been knocked down to the 4th fastest qualifying position as M. Doran 09 in the 3rd position now with a 128.793. Still watching CPI Alex on your screen. Every driver except White Fountain going on the soft tires. White Fountain going to maybe try that reverse strategy. We'll check back in on Alex in a minute. Going to look at White Fountain. He has fitted the medium tires. He set his lap time on hard tires, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm looking for this to be his official qualifying lap and his flying lap as we're riding on board with him now. He drives through this beautiful Suzuka circuit. Checking back in on Alex. Scope Builder still ahead with a 128.143, and Alex, he gets off the track just a little bit, gets into the grass. He saves it. That was a magnificent save by Alex, but that is definitely going to hurt his lap time for sure. Might just want to pit and get a new set of softs, as White Fountain has now set the 7th fastest time with a 129.158. 129.158, that's fast enough for 7th. On the medium tires, mind you, so he is out qualified. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drivers on the softs. So White Fountain going to try that reverse strategy here today. We're going to see just how it works out for him. I'm telling you, he is already my early pick. Foxy Red now 2nd in the points. Foxy Red now 3rd on the board, 128.598. Of course, as I said, he is 2nd in the points too. Scope Builder trailing him by a gap of 20 points. So Foxy Red looking for a really good showing here today, as there is a championship on the line. Of course, behind Foxy Red, we have Aaron J. Spence. 29-point gap to Scope Builder. I don't think Aaron J. In fact, no, he is not with us here today, unfortunately. Tamworth Fox, though, he is with us today, is he not? Yes, he is. He is in the 13th position. Of course, he has not yet set a time, obviously, but he is in the 4th position. 5th is White Fountain in the points, and CPI Alex in 6th. And really, that's all the drivers that we have today, except it looks like M. Doran is 11th and X Rossi 21 in 12th. They have not run, apparently they have not run a full season. TB in the 14th position is now we see Tamworth Fox in that Racing Point machine coming out to make his qualifying lap. We're going to ride on board with him. Taking it slow on his out lap. It looks like Rossi is on his, well, he was on his flying lap, but looks like he got into the gravel trap and we just missed it. Now he's pulling back into the pits. Lap time thrown out the door. Now, who is that pulling out? Is that Jamie Ryan? Yes, Jamie Ryan and the 2 Alfa Romeos of Foxy Red and LR Archie are pulling out now. So we have 2 Alfa Romeos and a McLaren. Riding on board right now with the McLaren. As you see, Foxy Red is the 3rd fastest qualifier still. Scope Builder still on top of the board with a 128.143. Jamie Ryan taking it very easy on the out lap, and really no reason to push. Just make sure you keep up to somewhat pace and get some heat in your tires, get some heat in your brakes, get some heat in what needs to be heated, and just prepare yourself for your flying lap. There's M. Doran 09 in the Ferrari. Gonna ride on board with him as he is currently making his out lap. Still only 12 of 13 drivers have set a time. 1 minute and 35 seconds remaining in this session, and Tamworth Fox, the last driver to set a time, now in his flying lap. We're going to ride with him and watch him this entire lap, see if he will be able to complete it or Will he make a mistake, as we've seen so many drivers do here today already? So far, so good, though. It looks fairly smooth from Tamworth Fox. Looks like he's getting good line in through these corners. Maybe a little bit of a corner cut there, but honestly, if I were a steward, I would not give a penalty for that. I wouldn't even give a warning for that. That was right on the edge, and that's right where we need to be. Through the hairpin now, the uphill hairpin. Tamworth Fox goes a little bit wide. Will he save it? Yes, he does, but it will not invalidate his lap, but that definitely shaves a lot of time off. Tamworth Fox just on the edge of control right there. That was a miraculous save, but unfortunately not going to do him any good here in this qualifying session. I don't think he's going to have time to make it back around and complete a lap. Very unfortunate for Tamworth Fox, though maybe he's trying to conserve his tires and have that opportunity. Will he pull him to the pits here, or will he try to give it another go? Scopefielder still on top of the board. He's going to give it another go here on those soft tires, and why wouldn't you? You might as well. Qualifying is over. One driver, mind you, Tamworth Fox, has 2 minutes and 45 seconds to complete this lap. Ample amount of time. CPI Alex right there you see in the 4th position. This is going to be his last lap, as is Foxy Red in the 3rd position. A 128.277 belongs to Foxy Red. A 128.731 belongs to CPI Alex. Ton Albanach now in the 4th position, 128.642. Imdor 09 in the 5th position with a 128.652. CPI Alex, 128.731 in the 6th position right now. White Fountain has decided to forego the reverse strategy, and he is going on the softs, and he set a lap time of 129.158. So no reverse strategy here today. Everybody's going to be starting on the softs. This is where Tamworth Fox lost it last time. What will he do this time? Oh, he lost it. He did lose it, but he saved it, and he got through a lot quicker. On board with him now. Very slow through these S's. And now qualifying is officially over. Where will Tamworth Fox wind up? Still only in the 13th position. Perhaps his lap time was invalidated by exceeding track limits. I'm not entirely sure. We're going to find out in just a moment. But Tamworth Fox will be lining up in the 13th position. In fact, that's what did happen. No time for Tamworth Fox due to exceeding track limits. Scopefielder, your pole sitter, and your points leader at the moment. 128.143, followed by LR Archie, Foxy Red, Ton Albanach, Imdor and 09, CPI Alex, TB, White Fountain, Jamie Ryan, X Rossi, Vitten, Rudy, and Tamworth Fox. That is your qualifying order for the F1 Equal League Japanese Grand Prix, brought to you by the Invictus Racing League, and shortly we will be starting our race. Going to turn to our viewers on Twitch. Now that you've seen qualifying, and now that you've seen just how much these drivers are having trouble with this circuit, who's your early pick? Before this race even starts, who's your early pick? Who do you think's going to win? Are we going to have a surprise winner? Are we going to have a surprise podium finisher? Or is it going to be standard as always, to where Scopefielder will usually wind up in about the top 3? With LR Archie, who has put on a pretty good show this season. And mind you, Foxy Red, 2nd in points. So he's also put on a good show and had some pretty decent finishes this season. So who are your picks? Get them in now in the Twitch chat. As we wait for the drivers to line up, it looks like the session is starting in 24 seconds, so that is good. Things very much getting underway today. The countdown starts. It's 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And there you see the drivers lined up on the grid, ready to start their formation lap. Just going down the line to refresh your memory, we have Scope Fielder in first, followed by LR Archie in second. He overtook on the formation lap. He's going to have to give that position back, obviously, but it shouldn't really be an issue. Foxy Red in third, Ton Almanac in fourth, M. Doran in fifth, CPI Alex in sixth, seventh is TB White Fountain in eighth, Jamie Ryan in the ninth position, 10th is X Rossi 21, Vitten in 11th, 12th is Rudy, and 13th is Tamworth Fox in that Racing Point machine. Looks like all drivers, even the drivers outside of the top 10, have decided. In fact, no, I'm wrong. White Fountain apparently set his time on medium tires, so he is starting on the mediums. And Vitten and Rudy have decided to change mediums since they qualified outside of the top 10. So we have 3 drivers going for the reverse strategy here today. And the reason I'm talking about the reverse strategy so much, if you're just joining us in on Twitch, yesterday during the Performance League, there was a driver who actually made it work very, very well. He ended up finishing 5th in the race, but mind you, that was after time penalties and a spin. And had he not spun out, and had he not gotten those time penalties, I'm very confident that he would have won that race. So I really think the reverse strategy is the way to go here. So there's 3 drivers on it, starting on the mediums. Look for them to change over to the soft tires about lap anywhere from 15 to 20. 15, I think, is just a little too early to change. But talking to some other drivers yesterday, apparently the soft tires do not have as much of a fall off as you would expect. So I'm just going to throw some numbers out there where maybe usually you can go 8 to 10 laps. Apparently you can go about 12 to 15 laps with the soft tires here at this circuit. That's a beautiful shot of that Pirelli tire. Beautiful red on that soft. All the drivers now lining up on the grid. Done with the formation lap. This race will be getting underway very shortly. I am on the edge of my seat and ready for this to happen. As you hear it now, the itchy pedal feet. The engine's revving up and the red lights are on. And the Japanese Grand Prix for the Invictus Racing League F1 Equal League is underway. Scope Fielder, your points leader, gets out to an early lead, followed by LR Archie and Foxy Red 2000 in the third position. Renault, Alfa Romeo, and Red Bull. Thought there may have been just a little bit of contact in the back of the pack, but there was not. Gonna check though on Jamie Ryan, who lost a ton of positions on the start. All drivers just kind of falling in line right here. Really no opportunities for overtaking just yet, though right now we see M. Doran getting the slipstream off of Ton Almanac, maybe trying to set up an overtaking to the hairpin. I don't think he's going to be close enough. And granted, it's really too early to be making a lot of moves. So unless you know that you can cleanly make a pass, there's really no reason. But there was just a little bit of contact there between him and Ton Almanac. Nothing that was intentional, but it did get Ton Almanac just a little bit loose, but he saved it. So M. Doran and Ton Almanac, none the worse for wear. They got through pretty much unscathed. Scope Fielder, of course, still your leader at the moment, followed by LR Archie and Foxy Red. The top 3 have not changed. Just running in line, nose to tail, more or less. Meanwhile, it looks like Tamworth Fox is making a move up through the field. X Rossi in the Haas as he goes wide there in that corner. He has dropped down through the pack, and so has Jamie Ryan. There is now some wing damage, or some damage from somebody, I don't know, or maybe that was just a cone that they hit. But Scope Fielder, 1:33, fastest lap time of the race so far, but now Scope Fielder is getting challenged by Archie. But now Archie is getting challenged by Foxy Red. 2 Alfa Romeos duking it out right here. With Ton Almanac in the Red Bull, he's wanting to stick his nose into the mix. He's saying, hey guys, I won at that second position. Hello, move over for me. battle has basically calmed down now. But look for Foxy Red to make another move just as soon as he gets an opportunity. Little loose out of that corner by Foxy Red, but nothing too big. Just had to turn the wheel to the right just a little bit. Going back now, I'm going to take a look at Tamworth boxes. This was the section that he had the trouble in qualifying, but he seems to be making it work for him in the race. He has already moved his way up to the 10th position. He started on 13th. Now it looks like Rudy has dropped all the way down to the 13th position. Apparently he spun and got off the track and I didn't notice it. But Rudy in the Williams now in the 13th position. He was running around 7th position, more or less. Scope Builder now with a 132.979, the fastest lap of the race. Looks like TV's making a move on the Racing Point machine. In fact, no, it was X Rossi making a move on the Racing Point machine of Tamworth Fox. And he made the move, stick going into turn 1. X Rossi moved him up to the 10th position. Tamworth Fox in 11th now. TV 237.91. Riding on board with him in his Toro Rosso. And, no, excuse me, this is White Fountain that we're riding on board with in Toro Rosso. He is chasing TV 237.91. As you see, TV got just a little wide off of that corner, but none the worse for wear going through the hairpin now. TV trying to put a little bit of pressure on the Racing Point machine of CPI Alex, but he's really not close enough to try to even think about a pass at this moment. Meanwhile, CPI Alex putting pressure on the Ferrari of M. Doran 09, who is running in the 5th position. CPI Alex may be going to make a move here soon. He's not close enough yet, but he's hunting him down. Checking back on the battle for the lead here. Gonna ride on board with LR Archie until we pass the finish line. Scope Builder still in the 1st position, but LR Archie is not letting him get out of his sights. As you heard that beep, that means DRS is now activated, and LR Archie is going to try to make a move on Scope Builder's outside. Will he be able to make it stick? No, he will not. Scope Builder will retain that 1st position, but not for a lack of trying from LR Archie. Scope Builder went just a little bit wide in that last corner. That gave Archie a moment to get up beside Scope Builder. Just a moment, though. LR Archie giving chase and giving chase hard to Scope Builder. He really wants that position. And who can blame him? That's the race lead right there that you're racing for, and you are right there within snatching distance. You don't want to make too risky moves this early on in the race, but if you can make a move, why not? Track position is so important with these cars. Archie going just a little bit wide, maybe a little bit wide, but it looked all right to me. Trying to use that slipstream to catch up to Scope Builder. Not going to be able to even try to make a pass, but he does. He actually does go on the outside of Scope Builder. It will turn onto the inside going to this next corner, and LR Archie has made a miraculous move for the 1st position. LR Archie now your leader of the Japanese Grand Prix. Scope Builder now having to settle for 2nd and under pressure from Foxy Red, who is also his nearest points competitor. Scope Builder now trying to make a move back on LR Archie. At least he's trying to get to the back of him. Not going to be able to make a move just yet. LR Archie, Scope Builder, Foxy Red, Tano, Knock, and M. Doran. That is your top 5 as they run right now. CPI Alex in the 6th position. We're going to check on him right now, as it looks like he is trying to close that gap on M. Doran, but I don't think it's going to work. that is a pretty far gap. So no chance for an overtake in the near future, as now it looks like Jamie Ryan is making a move on Tamworth Fox. In fact, he did. Jamie Ryan now in the 11th position. Checking back down on the battle for the lead, as Scope Builder is getting some pressure from Foxy Red. That is my dog barking, I apologize. Scope Builder now in the 2nd position, still riding on board with him as he is chasing LR Archie, but still receiving an enormous amount of pressure from Foxy Red 2000 and Alfa Romeo. Foxy Red 2000, of course, 2nd in the points, only 20 points behind Scope Builder. Scope Builder, LR Archie on the exit of the corner, he spun, and Archie now goes from 1st to the 6th position, and he will lose even more times. Out, exiting that corner, he spun, he got loose and spun. Scope Builder was able to move into 1st, but only just as now Foxy Red 2000 is still in the 1st position. He got by Scope Builder, and LR Archie will rejoin this race in the 12th position, and a disappointing day for LR Archie. Foxy Red right there, you see in the 1st position, followed very closely by Scope Builder. Scope Builder in that Renault, Foxy Red in the Alfa Romeo. Don Albanach now in 3rd after LR Archie spun, receiving an enormous amount of pressure from the Ferrari of M. Doran 09. Don Albanach receiving an enormous amount of pressure. M. Doran was maybe going to make a move there. He got right up to the gearbox of Ton Albanach, but he decided not to make a move, and really there was no room to make a move there, but he's letting him know, hey, I'm fast and I'm here. Watch out. So now X Rossi has a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. This is lap 6 of 27 now. X Rossi having a hard time around this circuit. Lap 7 of 27, 21 to go. Ton Almanach still receiving a lot of pressure from M. Doran as M. Doran tried to make a move on the outside going into turn 1, but it did not work. He could not make it stick. Foxy Red still in 1st. Scope Builder not trying to make a move just yet. There's now a yellow flag in Sector 3. LR Archie has officially retired from this race. It is a DNF for LR Archie and a disappointing day for him, who he had a fast car. He very well could have won this race. But he will not, as it is a DNF, and he is back to the paddock. Foxy Red 2000 receiving more pressure now from Scope Builder. Scope Builder has closed that gap to less than half a second. Ton Almanach, meanwhile, in 3rd, quite a ways back. In fact, 1.3 seconds back. But he has his hands full behind him still with M. Doran in that Ferrari. M. Doran showing an impressive amount of speed here today. Tamworth Fox now with a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Riding on board with Scope Builder, going down the front stretch, going to complete lap 7. It is now 20 laps to go in the Japanese Grand Prix for the Invictus Racing League. Scope Builder has the DRS, but he is not close enough to make anything of it. But he is trying to close that gap just as much as possible on Foxy Red, as now it looks like White Fountain is making a move on TB 230 for the 6th position. Two Toro Rosso's duking it out here. And TB, he got just a little bit wide, got into the grass there. Thought for a minute he was going to spin, but he did not. Good car control there from TB. M. Doran and the Ferrari still chasing down the Red Bull. Meanwhile, the Renault of Scope Builder still chasing down the Alfa Romeo of Foxy Red. Scope Builder might be making a move here soon. He is definitely trying. He is closing that gap, and he is closing it each and every lap. He wants that position back. He knows he can get it. So as they run now, Scope Builder would still be your points leader. going into this race, Scope Builder had a 20 points lead over Foxy Red. He would still be your points leader, but that would be cut down. I really cannot do the math in my head at the very moment. That's why I leave it up to the Invictus Racing League admins to do the math for the points. And, you know, just going to take this moment. Big thank you to the Invictus Racing League admins for doing that work and just putting in all the work here to make sure that, as now, never mind, I will say that in just a moment, a Scope Builder trying to make a move on Archie, but it didn't work. Codemasters, I love the shot of the wheel, but please give me better camera angles when stuff is happening. Like, do not give me bad camera angles in a passing zone, please. Do not frustrate me like this. As now, Scope Builder is just going to ride on board with him. Apparently, it's the only camera angle I have. But, going to change gears here. Big thank you to the Invictus Racing League admins for putting the work in to make sure that all the points are correct and that everything is up to date. Big thank you to everybody. Scope Builder now approaching the hairpin, trying to make a move on Foxy Red. Maybe thought about putting his nose in on the outside, but knew it wasn't going to work. If you can make a pass on the outside in the hairpin, I am very impressed. And it looks as though M. Doran has actually gotten by Ton Albanach. Apparently, while watching the battle for the lead, I missed that. And M. Doran has a fast car because now he is 0.7 seconds behind Scope Builder in the second position. So here in just a moment, we are going to have a 3-car battle for the lead. Ton Albanach losing some ground now. CPI Alex is very shortly going to be trying to make a move on him. Not sure if it's going to work. We're going to ride on board with CPI Alex while keeping a very close eye on those drivers up in the lead. CPI Alex he should have DRS. He is less than a second. Now Scope Builder and Foxy Red duking it out. Scope Builder gets underneath Foxy Red, but that becomes the inside of this next corner, and Foxy Red will retain the lead right here, right now. Scope Builder tried to make a move on the outside going to turn 1, but it did not work, and then he tried to follow it up with another move. He tried to cross over, just could not make it stick. Looks like either Foxy Red or Scope Builder got into the grass there just a little bit. Scope Builder went just a little wide off of that corner. Meanwhile, M. Doran has closed the gap now to half a second, more or less, on Scope Builder. So M. Doran in that Ferrari giving chase to Scope Builder. So now Scope Builder not only has to deal, now Tamworth Fox suffering a DNF. Not sure what happened to him there, but Tamworth Fox will suffer a DNF in this race. So 2 DNFs now of LR Archie and Tamworth Fox. We are still watching the 3-car battle for the lead between Foxy Red, Scope Builder, and M. Doran. Further back down the field, we have Ton Albanach in the 4th position, receiving a little bit of pressure from the racing point of CPI Alex. 7 seconds behind him is the Toro Rosso of TB, but then it is Vitten and X Rossi who is having a little bit of a battle for the 7th position, as X Rossi is within 0.2 seconds, and now Foxy Red has decided to pit, as did Scope Builder. So M. Doran has now inherited the lead, followed by Ton Albanach and CPI Alex. Vitten now in the 4th position. He is on that reverse strategy, so there were 10 laps on those medium tires. Look for him to go at least 5 more. But truthfully, I think you want to go, I don't know, maybe 10 more if you can make it. If you can make 20 laps on medium tires, go ahead and do it, because you're going to want to do it. Meanwhile, he's still receiving an enormous amount of pressure from X Rossi. Good job to Vitten, though, by holding him off on those medium tires. X Rossi on old softs. Now X Rossi trying to make a move on Vitten, but it looks like those old softs are just starting to wear out. They've more or less matched the wear of the medium tires at this point. They've matched the speed, but now X Rossi went by on the outside. Move X Rossi into the 4th position now, followed by Vitten in the 5th position. Look for M. Doran and Ton Albanach also to pit very shortly. Not sure if they're going to pit this lap or not. Just a little bit of a lockup from M. Doran, but nothing too bad. M. Doran going into the pits Ton Albanach going into the pits. CPI Alex going into the pits. X Rossi trying to make another move, and he does on the Williams of Witten. X Rossi going into the pits, so the Williams of Witten now inheriting this lead. That is, of course, a reverse strategy that he is on. As I have said, 11 laps on those medium tires. Now, M. Doran has selected the medium tires. He's pulling out of the pits, as is Ton Albanach. Looks like CPI Alex had to serve a time penalty. He is dropping like a rock. Ton Albanach now in the 5th position. M. Doran in 4th. CPI Alex in the 6th position. Not sure if he had to serve a time penalty or not, actually. I think that's about the gap that there was before, more or less. Watching Ton Albanach right now in that Red Bull, giving chase to the Ferrari of M. Doran. Every driver except for Witten have now made a pit stop. White Fountain down there in the 11th position. He's going to try to go all the way on those hard tires. X Rossi, he pitted for medium tires. Every driver pitted for medium tires except for White Fountain 2 laps ago, who pitted for the hard tires. TB now dropping just a little bit. Not sure what happened there. He's now receiving a lot of pressure from the McLaren of Jamie Ryan and the Toro Rosso of White Fountain. Jamie Ryan on the back of TB, giving an enormous amount of pressure. Going to try to maybe look on the inside. Now looking on the outside, he faked him out. He faked TV out. Now he's trying to move to the outside, but there he just cannot make it stick. A little bit of... excuse me, a little bit of contact maybe between the McLaren and the Toro Rosso. Now Jamie Ryan going to try to make another move on the inside, but now the Toro Rosso of White Fountain went on the outside, and there is absolute carnage. Absolute carnage as the Toro Rosso of White Fountain went on the outside. He overshot the corner, and he got into the back of TB, and it sent TB straight into the wall, and you saw it there. The car was absolutely destroyed. So White Fountain, Jamie Ryan, now having to pit and change and to adjust their strategy. Meanwhile, TB officially out of this race. White Fountain now officially out of this race. What will Jamie Ryan do? He is in a points position right now, but I don't think he is in a points battle. What is he going to do? Will he retire, or will he continue on with this race? They release him, and looks like he is going to continue on with his race, but that is a big development there and a huge crash. Witten still leading this race, of course. Medium tires, 12 laps on them. He's going to try to go as long as he can before he has to pit for the softs. And if he has to pit for those soft tires, well, Foxy Red will inherit the lead, as he is 1.4 seconds now ahead of Scope Fielder. Still watching Witten. He's now on 13 laps on those tires. And, you know, again, that is truthfully what I believe he should do, is go even more if he possibly can. And Doran, meanwhile, has set the fastest lap of the session. And really, I'm surprised that didn't come on earlier. But it doesn't really matter, or it might not, because Ton Albanach is all up on the back of M. Doran. The Red Bull all up on the back of that Ferrari, and he's going to try to make a move just as soon as he can. He is letting M. Doran know that, hey, now I'm the one that's here. Make way for me now. We're going to see what happens here. Lap 14 into this Japanese Grand Prix, with about 13 or so to go. All drivers but Witten have made a pit stop. Witten on the reverse strategy. He started on the medium tires, so he is trying to make it last as long as he possibly can. M. Doran now putting a little bit of a gap on Ton Albanach, but Ton Albanach, if he stays within this distance, he will get DRS on the front stretch. Meanwhile, going back to what will eventually be the lead when Witten pits is Foxy Red, who does not have any pressure from the points leader of Scope Filter. This is a championship battle that we're watching here. Foxy Red, who now has the fastest lap of the session, but now Ton Almanac, a 1:31 in this session. Ton Almanac now the fastest driver in this session, as he has went by M. Doran. He got the DRS. I missed the pass, but he got by M. Doran for the 4th position. Now M. Doran just having to lay in wait and maybe see, just maybe see if he's fast enough. Can he catch up to Ton Almanac? Those medium tires really working well for that Red Bull right now. See your points leader of Scope Filter going to ride on board with him. You see the gap to Foxy Red up there. That is a pretty big gap. Meanwhile, that gap to Vitten is shrinking ever so quickly. But I don't think it would benefit Vitten to pit right now. I think, honestly, if he can keep it out there for another lap or two, he needs to. Because he wants those soft tires to be as fresh as possible there at the end. Yesterday we saw it. We saw that drivers can, in fact, make moves up through the field with soft tires when everyone else is on older mediums. But as the nature of these tires, the softs will wear out quicker. Will Vitten pit this time, or is he going to stay out? We're going to find out here in just a second. He is going to stay out at least for one more lap. 15 laps now on those medium tires. This is lap 16 of 27. 12 laps to go. Foxy Red still in the 2nd position. Scope Filter still in the 3rd position. Ton Almanac, the fastest driver of the session so far. He is in 4th, trying to chase down Scope Filter. It looks like he's closing that gap in just a little bit, but behind him, M. Doran is only half a second behind. M. Doran is back there waiting to pounce. Meanwhile, X Rossi moving up through the field just a little bit as he made a move on the Williams of Rudy. X Rossi now pulling away as he goes just a little bit wide out of that corner and gets into the grass, but no harm, no foul. Jamie Ryan. Of course, if you just recently joined us on Twitch, there was, in this section here, just a couple laps ago, a wreck involving White Fountain TV and Jamie Ryan. Jamie Ryan pitted for a new wing, pitted for new tires. He survived. White Fountain and TV, they had to call it quits. They had to call it a DNF, as it just did not work for them. Their cars were too damaged. Going back to the lead now momentarily so we can check in on Vitten in that Williams. And the livery on the Williams car this year, I just think is absolutely beautiful. It is just so peaceful, so serene. If only that made it fast in the real life F1. As now Vitten pits. Vitten pits. 15 laps on those medium tires is all he decided to take, and Foxy Red inherits the lead. 5-second time penalty for Vitten for speeding in the pit lane. That is going to put a big spanner into his strategy here. As you see there, Foxy Red 2000 in the lead, 1.4 seconds ahead of Scope Filter. Scope Filter 2.4 seconds ahead of Ton Almanac. Ton Almanac still only half a second ahead of M. Doran. Vitten will rejoin this race now with the other Williams battling side by side. Rudy versus Vitten, Williams versus Williams. Vitten, of course, on the soft tires. That was the logical way to go, really the only way to go. But with that time penalty, and with him being held up right now by Rudy, it is going to make it extremely difficult for him to work his way up through this field. I dare say that at this point, Vitten getting so much as a top 5 is out of the question. And as much as I hate to say it, because I am very much a fan of the reverse strategies, that is just how it's going to go. But Vitten making a move on the other Williams of Rudy right now through the hairpin. Vitten now moves up into the 7th position. His next competitor, 3 seconds ahead, 3.6 seconds ahead to be exact. That is the Haas of X Rossi 21, as you see right there. Number 14 car. Moving up to the lead now. Although there was a lockup from M. Doran, as M. Doran getting very close to Ton Almanac. He's going to have the DRS this time. Ton Almanac protecting that inside just as much as he possibly can. Very good defensive move by Ton. M. Doran trying to go to the outside, but not going to be able to make it work. Just could not get close enough. but he is trying to stay within striking distance of Ton Albanach. Going to do just as much as he can. Meanwhile, no change up front. Scope Builder now 1.7 seconds behind Foxy Red. It was 1.4 just 2 laps ago. Scope Builder now losing time to Foxy Red. It's lap 18 of 27. 10 laps to go here in the Japanese Grand Prix. Invictus Racing League's F1 Equal League. Doran getting really close to Ton Albanach in that hairpin, but Ton Albanach gets a really nice exit. Ton Albanach really on the defensive here. But he keeps it within the lines. He keeps it within the track limits. Very good driving from both of these drivers right here. We have this long straightaway now. Going to ride on board with him, Doran, see just what he can do. Trying to maybe squeak his way in on the outside, and he faked Ton Albanach out, but now Ton Albanach has the advantage going into the corner, and Ton Albanach will retain this position. So M. Doran still in the 4th position, going to get, he was going to get DRS here, but M. Doran spun out. He spun out and got into the wall, going into the final corner. M. Doran now not out of the session, but out of contention for a podium even, and undoubtedly going to have wing damage there. Very disappointing for M. Doran. As you can see, the right side end plate on his wing is gone. Bitten 1:31.727, the fastest lap of the race. He is in the 7th position, but M. Doran out of contention for a podium. Now he has to limp his way back across this entire track so that he can pit and get a new wing. Very unfortunate development for M. Doran, as he was one of the fastest drivers here today. Meanwhile, Ton Albanach, he is really loving that. He now has a clear track behind him and a clear track ahead of him. Of course, that is only the 3rd position, and he has 3 seconds to his closest competitor. So not the ideal position for Ton Albanach, but nonetheless a very decent one. A podium is still a good points-paying position and a good finishing position overall. Jamie Ryan now with a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings from the stewards. Meanwhile, it looks like Rossi. No, excuse me. It looks like CPI Alex is getting fairly close to M. Doran. Of course, M. Doran with the wing damage. Undoubtedly going to pit here. Yes, he does. So give CPI Alex the 4th position. That will put M. Doran probably all the way back to the 8th position, if I'm a betting man, maybe even to the 9th position, but we're going to find out here in just a minute as everybody passes M. Doran. Bitten now on that reverse strategy back into the 6th position, but remember, he sped in the pit lane. He has a 5-second time penalty. So track position alone is not going to determine his race here today, as when they cross the line, the time penalties will be factored in. Meanwhile, M. Doran has rejoined this race. He will rejoin this race in the 7th position. 38 seconds now ahead of Rudy in the Williams. So M. Doran, unfortunately, in the 7th position. Vitten now has retired from the session. I don't know what happened to him, but he has retired from the session. So a DNF for Vitten as well. So that gives us 5 DNFs in this session. Only 8 cars remaining. So M. Doran now moves up to the 6th position. Not a bad recovery on paper. Meanwhile, this race has really just gotten spread out. There's not a lot of battles for position. Going back to check on our leaders, Foxy Red, 3 seconds now ahead of Scope Builder. Foxy Red just putting an enormous amount of time on Scope Builder each and every lap. Scope just not able to get it done here today. 2nd position still very respectable, but he does not want to see Foxy Red ahead of him, as now it looks like Jamie Ryan is rejoining this race. He has decided to fit the soft tire. So he is rejoining this race, but he is lapped now. Hopefully when Scope Builder catches him, he will move out of the way. But until he does catch him, Scope Builder has nothing to do but look at that McLaren as he closes in on him. Well, maybe. truth be told, in fact, no, Jamie Ryan just let him by. Jamie Ryan just let Scope Builder by. But I was about to say that just maybe Scope Builder might not catch him because Jamie Ryan is on fresh softs. But I think Jamie Ryan's just going to go for the fastest lap here, as he is pitted for the soft tires with 7 laps to go in this race. Foxy Red 2000 still in the lead, followed by Scope Builder 2.8 seconds behind. Foxy Red and Scope Builder have been the dominant force today, leading more or less about half the laps. Through the chicane and around the final corner onto the front stretch to complete lap 21, now lap 22 of 27. Scope Builder obviously not close enough for DRS. Look at Ton Albanach here. He has a clear track ahead of him. You can just barely see Scope Builder up there. Ton Albanach, though, you can hear him. He's taking it very easy, and he really has no reason to not to. He has 4 seconds on CPI Alex in the 4th position, and he's trying to make these tires last. Now the fastest lap has been set by M. Doran on those medium tires. Medium tires have set the fastest lap here today. That was a 1:31, if I remember correctly, if I saw it correctly. So good job to M. Doran, who is really trying to close the gap on X Rossi, but that is a 16-second gap. I don't see that being closed, at least not in the time that we have left. So M. Doran probably just going to end up finishing in the 6th position, but a decent recovery nonetheless. Meanwhile, Rudy right there in the Williams, he's running in the 7th position. Jamie Ryan running in the 8th position. That is Scope Builder in the Renault that you saw right there, just ahead of him. Running on board now with Scope Builder. And Jamie Ryan now has the fastest lap of a 1:31.373. Jamie Ryan on those fresh soft tires, setting the fastest lap. Foxy Reds still, of course, in command of this race. And more or less, unless something catastrophic were to happen in the next 5 laps or so, give or take, I do believe that what you see here is what you get, and this is going to be our finishing order. But hey, a race isn't over until it's over. Not over until the leader sees this checkered flag. So anything can still happen here. As Scope Builder closes the gap only slightly. It was 3 seconds some time ago, now down to only 2.9, now back to 3 seconds. So Scope Builder not really gaining any time here, at least not a lot at all on Foxy Red. Certainly not enough to make it to the end of this race to challenge for the lead. Of course, we're going to check on M. Doran here now, who had the fastest lap. Race control has now given X Rossi a 3-second time penalty. Multiple warnings from the stewards. M. Doran went just a little wide there, but I think he stayed within track limits. He did not get into the grass, so that is already good. Riding on board with him until he finishes this lap. I want to see if maybe he can get a faster lap than what he had just a moment ago. Lock up from the right front there. That's probably going to kill his lap time. Now he rounds the final quarter down the front stretch. Will not set the fastest lap this time. That title belongs to Jamie Ryan at the moment. A 1:31 from Jamie Ryan while running in the 8th position. That happened just a couple of laps ago. Doran, though, still trying to drive hard for that fastest lap. Meanwhile, Rossi 21 in the 5th position. No one around him, but with that 3-second time penalty, and I think he has more than one, Doran might actually be able to finish in the 5th position, but that is assuming Doran does not have any time penalties. CPI Alex in the 4th position in that Racing Point machine. He is rounding the final corner. Jamie Ryan, fastest lap yet again, a 1:31.301 for Jamie Ryan. He has the fastest lap while running in the 8th position still, but only 3 seconds behind Rudy in the Williams down there in the 7th position. He might just be able to get 7th. Jamie Ryan might. Still watching CPI Alex. Going to go take a look at Ton Almanach. Looked like he got just a little loose in that corner. Not sure, but it looked like a little bit of a wiggle from the car. Jamie Ryan, there you see him right there in front of Ton Almanach, because he did pit 4 laps ago for the soft tires. He is a lap down, but he still has the fastest lap and has said it twice in this session. He's going to have to make those tires last for another 3 laps. Very doable. Only 4 laps on those soft tires. Of course, he lets Ton Almanach go, which is smart. You know, let the leaders go, let them by, let them run their race. And now Foxy Red apparently has suffered a DNF. Not sure what happened there, but Foxy Red a DNF, and I cannot look at Foxy Red's car now, but Foxy Red, as you can see there, a DNF now. So Ton Almanach now moves into the 2nd position. Scope Filter moves into the 1st position. Scope Filter, your points leader, will now increase that lead over Foxy Red. It was going to be 20 points going into this race. Now it will be quite larger than that. And that is an unfortunate turn of events for Foxy Red. Again, do not know what happened. Completely missed it. It could be a connection issue. It could be he wrecked. Truly do not know. But that played into Scope Filter's hands beautifully. And really Ton Almanach, and really every driver, because now we've got Scope Filter, Ton Almanach, and CPI Alex on the podium. Rossi 21 in the 4th position. Doran, after that contact, he has recovered to a top 5 position right now. So my prediction of him being unable to get a top 5 was obviously very, very wrong. Of course, he doesn't mind. He will take a top 5, but he'd rather a win. Meanwhile, it looks like just 2 laps ago, Rudy pitted for soft tires. Looks like Jamie Ryan has pitted for another set of soft tires. What is he doing, a time trial here? I mean, if you've got the tires, you might as well use it at this point, but I think he's just trying to set the fastest lap he possibly can. I think he's just trying to get faster in general, and really, you know, if you have the moment to sit back and kind of figure out what to do here, then go for it. I know in my career race at Monaco, which, by the way, I run absolutely terrible at Monaco, once I realized that I was just going to finish 20th anyway, I literally just decided to ride around the whole track. For the rest of the race, it was a 50% race. I rode around the whole track just to try and find points to where I could improve my lap time. So maybe that's what Jamie Ryan's doing here today. Now, that Williams is Rudy that you see behind Scope Filter. That is a lapped car, so that is not for position there, so there is no pressure there. Scope Filter could let him go if he needed to. It looks like Rudy is faster than him. Scope Filter has 15 laps on those, 16 laps now on those medium tires. This is the last lap, by the way. Meanwhile, Rudy only has 3 laps on those soft tires. It doesn't matter one way or the other if you let him go or not. At this point, it is the last lap. But Scope Filter at this point just trying to bring it home. Bring home another win for himself in the F1 Equal League. Brought to you by the Invictus Racing League. Only 5 more corners remaining for Scope Filter now. He is 6 seconds ahead of Ton Almanach. So even with 1 5-second time penalty, which I'm not sure whether or not he has, he will still be able to win this race. We're going to find out his time penalties here in just a minute as Scope Builder rounds the final corner and crosses the line. Scope Builder is your winner in the Japanese Grand Prix. Tan Albanach, 6 seconds behind, is going to cross that line. No time penalties for Scope Builder. Tan Albanach, second place. CPI Alex now crossing the line in the 3rd position. X Rossi in the Haas. He is going to bring it home in the 4th position, so long as time penalties do not have a say otherwise. M. Doran 09 in the Ferrari now. He is rounding the final set of corners, and he gets loose yet again in the same spot that he spun out in earlier. He spins out again, gets loose, coming to the checkered flag, and that will allow Jamie Ryan to get by him, not for position, of course, as Jamie Ryan is a lap down. M. Doran will still finish in the 5th position. Decent recovery from M. Doran, but he spun out in that same position twice. Car control, definitely an issue for drivers here today. But not an issue for Scope Builder, apparently, as he has walked away with this win. Likely would have been Foxy Red had Foxy Red not had that DNF. Still don't know what happened there. But there you have it. Scope Builder is your winner for F1, for Invictus Racing League's F1 Equal League Japanese Grand Prix. And your official finishing results for the Japanese Grand Prix is Scope Builder in 1st, followed by Tan Albanach, CPI Alex in 3rd, X Rossi in 4th, M. Doran in 5th. 6th is Rudy. 7th, Jamie Ryan. 8th is Foxy Red. Vinton in 9th, White Fountain in 10th. 11th is TB. Tamworth Fox, 12th. LR Archie in 13th. And, of course, there were 5 DNFs of Foxy Red, Vinton, White Fountain. Make that 6 DNFs. TB, Tamworth Fox, and LR Archie. 6 DNFs in this session. Only 7 drivers finishing, crossing the line. But congratulations to Scope Builder on his win and increasing the point lead. And so long as these drivers want to have an interview, stay tuned. We will interview them. Just short interviews, mind you. Go ahead and invite them to a party right now. And while we wait for the drivers to join our party and wait for our interviews, Twitch, what did you think of that race? I thought it was pretty exciting. It got spaced out there at the end. There was a few drivers that had some issues, but it got spaced out there in the end. But for most of the race, it was, in fact, very exciting and very much a lot of overtaking. Or has joined our party, as well as Tan Albanach. If you guys could please allow your voice to be heard going into party settings. And allow your voice to be shared and change that to always allow. And also, if one of you has CPI Alex on your friends list, could you invite him?
Yep.
And while we are waiting on CPI Alex, going to give the first question to Scope, your winner and your points leader. You have increased your points gap now, Scope. It was 20 points over Foxy Red heading into this race. I'm not sure what it's going to be at the end of it because Foxy Red had that DNF. But it really looked there for a while that you were really settled for second, and then something happened with Foxy Red, and you were just able to kind of, I mean, I don't want to sound mean in saying this, but it just sounded, but you lucked into a win there at the end. So what happened here today? Because usually you are, you were running up front very early on, and then it just seemed like you started to fall back.
Yeah, this wasn't really my race to win. I think Foxy was pretty dominant in speed-wise, so it was really a gift. So, but you gotta take the wins when you get them. And I didn't have the pace to win today, but I got lucky in the end, so I'm happy with that.
Well, a win is definitely a win, whether it's by an inch or a mile. Do you know what happened to Foxy Red? Because I wasn't watching him at the time.
I think he just lost it. Don't don't remember where, but he was like 3 seconds ahead of me, and
Yeah, if I could cut in here, I believe it was on the...
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think he just spun, probably hit the curb or something, and then it just spun into the wall.
And Ton Albanach, our second place finisher. How was your race? Just tell us a little bit about that, because it looked like you really had at least a fourth place car here today, and you were having some pretty good battles there with M. Doran. You know, you all were kind of trading position there throughout the race before he ended up spinning out and hitting the wall. So, at which point did you realize that you were certainly heading for a podium finish here today?
I didn't realise that a podium was like a definite possibility for me until M. Doran had his incident. Like, 'cause I was always assuming at some point he would have passed me again, because he was just straight up faster than me. Like, it's quite a good feeling to get second place in a race where you're the fourth fastest car quite comfortably.
Did you have any issue with car control? Because I know a few drivers in the chat before the race, they were talking about, you know, how this track in general, well, one of them said it was crap, but, you know, this track in general, a lot of drivers was, you know, they seem to be saying that they just had issues, and we saw in qualifying quite a few drivers spin out, and in the race too. So did you have any issues with car control here today, or did you find a setup that really worked for you?
I didn't have any issues, but I think that's more assist-based than setup-based.
And Scopefielder, what about you? Did you have any issues?
No, I think I had a good setup to cope with that kind of issues. I think both the Alfa Romeos ran a bit aggressive on the setups, especially Archie, and that's why he spun a lot. And I think he spun in qualifying and also in the race. So yeah, I kinda just wanted to complete the race, 27 laps, and that's what I built my setup for. So it worked out in the end, and then it's just gotta be careful. You can't go too aggressive here. Just gotta take it lap by lap.
All right. Well, unless you all have any parting words, I'm going to go ahead and let you get on with your night. And I want to say congratulations to the both of you, and thank you for racing with us. Thank you for joining me and letting me interview you very quickly.
Thank you.
Oh, thanks for having us.
And thank you to all the viewers on Twitch for watching and joining us in. I hope you enjoyed the race half as much as I did, because I know I absolutely loved it. And don't forget, next week, same time, same Twitch channel, you can see the following race in the F1 Equal League. Also on Tuesdays on this same channel, you see my view of the Performance League, along with Malk, who also streams it on his channel. So until next week, I will see you, everybody. Have a good day, good night, good morning, wherever you are, and goodbye.